I'm back. Okay, I read this beautiful book by this beautiful woman by Ayala Van Zandt. Well, I've read many of her books, and this one I can't remember the name of it. I should have. I didn't have any intentions on maybe speaking about her books, but excuse me. Um, it's just part of the wiggling and the moving process. Um, she talked about your life experience, about being in the basement of your life, and how in the basement, and I don't know if I'm exactly, um, excuse me, I don't know if I'm going to exactly portray it the way she did, but I think about our basement coming up as a child. It was full of crap. And sometimes my mother and grandmother loved collecting things. It would be so much stuff, even with the laundry, would just throw it down the stairs. And then every few, maybe months after everything was so crowded and cluttered, my grandmother would go down and she would clean it up and organize it. You see where I'm going with this. Now, you can't always stay in the basement. Um, Now, I've been in some houses where, mostly back east, that one basement we had, it was very small. Um, well, on Clinton Street, it was a small basement. Um, on Peace Street, we lived in, we slept in the basement. My mother, my auntie, and a cousin, and they all had children, and all the children slept in each of these three rooms down in that basement. And I think I'm gonna focus on any basement, but that small basement we had on Clinton Street. We had a wash machine down there. There was an old stove down there, and the wash machine and dryer was there. That's where the laundry was done. And then it had storage space. And the storage, was where the Christmas lights went. And it wasn't my grandmother's Bible that she used to read every day, but her Bible was down there, and some encyclopedias were down there, and a whole bunch of other stuff was down in this area up under the stairs. And we had a root cellar. And the root cellar, my grandmother would put uh, nourishing things. She would cure meat down there. She would put fruit down there so that when the winter came, we had fruit. She would take apples would be in there, and I used to like to go sit in that root cellar part because number one, the dirt, it was dirt in there and it was rich, and I liked the way it smelled. And I never saw one bug. Then you come out from the root cellar, and you come out into the concrete floor of the basement, and there was another area to store things, and a lot of times it was unkept. And then in the last few years, I remember my grandmother would clean up the basement, and in winter months we could go down there and play instead of being outside. And it was a stove down there, and we made tea and things like that, and it kept us warm as well. But I spent a lot of time reminiscing on what was in that basement. But sometimes that's where we live our life. And this is what Ayala had addressed in her book, that we live our life in that basement. And it's not a lot of room to move around in that basement, and it's full of clutter, and it's full of our beliefs. And we want to hold on to those beliefs. But if you move up to the first floor, you can still bring your beliefs with you. But a lot of clutter that was holding you back, it's still down there in the basement. So it would be good to keep it down there in the basement. And up on the first floor, there was more movement, more places to expand. You know, we had the living room up there, the dining room, the den, the kitchen. Let me see. I want to make sure. The living room, we couldn't go in there and sit down. The dining room was where the fireplace was. So a lot of times in the winter, we sat in there because it was always a fire. In the den was, that was a cold ass room. That's where the TV was. And the kitchen. And the living room was never cluttered. But in the dining room and the family room, well, we called it the den, California family room, there was always where we did our homework, where my mother read the newspaper, big old comfortable chairs and a couch. But our life is more, you can move around more on the first floor. And then Ayala spoke about moving up to the second floor. And the bedrooms were on our second floor. And we had my mother's room, my grandmother's room, my aunt's room, and the bathroom. And Ayala even spoke about going up to the third floor. Third floor was my room and my sister's room. And that's all that was, no, sorry about that. My sister and my brother's room. That was all that was up there on the on the third floor was just our rooms. So it was plenty of room to move around in. And then she spoke about being on the roof. And being up on the roof is a lot of time, it's a lot of wide open space, and you're exposed to the sky. And when you look up, as Lenny Williams say, all you see is high. You look up to the sky, and you know that Lenny Williams song. Too bad. I wish I knew how to attach music. I'd put Lenny Williams on right now. Well, when I put it up on YouTube. Sorry, I got a little excited there. No, but you see where I'm going with your beliefs? You see what Ayala was trying to say? That we don't stay in the basement of our beliefs always. We don't stay there. I mean, you can stay if you choose to. It's your choice. But it is a good thing to move from the basement to see, you know why I put these on? So I can check the time. Okay. It is a good thing to move from the basement to the roof, to change the way you think, the way you believe, the way you see things in life. I don't mean to be negative or critical, and I hope I said enough for for someone to understand that not everybody wants to shove their beliefs down your throat with pain and harshness. I would love to share with everyone I have to take a minute.